Wii Sports, the game that had everyone in a chokehold. Even your 84-year-old grandma got in on the action. Look at her go! It was truly one of the best games the system had to offer, even becoming the most sold game on the system, though that might have been because it was bundled in with the Wii itself. Can't have Wii Sports without the Wii, right? Its simple motion controls allowed anyone to play, and with something as easy to pick up as sports, it was a no-brainer that it was an outstanding success. Everyone knows the Wii was extremely successful, and I'm sure you own one too, and if you didn't, you knew someone that did. But did you know that Nintendo tried to remake this game and failed miserably? Well, sit down and let me tell you the story of Wii Sports Club. Fast forward to 2011, 5 years later at E3, and Nintendo shows off its new controller, the Nintendo Wii U. No, it's not a new console, guys. If it was a new console, why would they say new controller 12 times in the reveal video, and not mention it is a new console once throughout the whole thing? Nintendo wouldn't do something as silly as that while also showing games that are only available on the Wii, right? A year later, it's 2012, and turns out it was a console after all, and not a new controller. Hopefully no one thought otherwise. Turns out people did think the Wii U was just an accessory, and most didn't think it was necessary, causing the original Wii to outsell the Wii U on its own launch year. Don't panic yet, you can still salvage this, guys. Just release a new Wii U Sports. People love that game and its sequel, so let's make another game in the series. Okay, so they actually remade the first Wii Sports on a console that can already play Wii games. Okay. Wii Sports Club released on the Wii U in 2013 and 2014. Yes, both years. I'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, for some reason they decided it would be better to remake Wii Sports instead of expanding on the series and its sequel, Wii Sports Resort. But maybe they knew what they were doing, so maybe this is exactly what the Wii U and Nintendo needs. Okay, maybe not. Let's talk about the first problem this game had. Like I said earlier, this game released in both 2013 and 2014, which was a part of Nintendo's unnecessarily complicated release schedule of this game, which released in an incomplete state to make things even worse. On November 7, 2013, Wii Sports Club hit the eShop. Or I should say the first wave of Wii Sports Club hit the eShop. Tennis and bowling, two great sections of Wii Sports. Unfortunately not enough, especially not enough to charge $50 for. So what did they do? They introduced the pass system. In order for players to play the game, they had to purchase one of two passes, the Club 24-hour pass or the Single Sport Club pass. The Club 24-hour pass granted players access to all two games for 24 hours before revoking it after the time limit passes. This was sold for $2 on the eShop and could be purchased as many times as you wanted. The Single Sport Club pass is about what it sounds like. It granted complete access to one sport with no time limit for $10 a pop. On top of all of this, Nintendo granted players a 24-hour free trial per account to get those players hooked on that sweet, sweet Wii Sports nostalgia. Except instead of seeing how much the game has improved, it was like seeing your dog slowly deteriorate right in front of your eyes. And honestly, 24 hours was more than enough for 11-year-old me, and even if it wasn't, I just made a new Nintendo account and got another 24 hours. So yeah, tennis and bowling. Sure, they were good, but why? At least the next month we got golf. I mean, surely at this pace my favorite sport, boxing, will be added soon enough, right? Alright, 6 months later we got baseball and boxing as the final two sports to complete the collection. And then a month later, we got a physical release of all 5 games for $40. So if you buy this bundle, you save yourself about $10. Was the Wii U hurting this bad that we couldn't just hold the games until the bundle was complete? Don't ask me. I had a Wii U, but I never touched it. What was I supposed to play, the fucking Crudes game? So Wii Sports Club, huh? Well, let's talk about the biggest difference from the Wii version of the game. The graphics. Everything was upscaled, so it definitely looks a lot sharper and it has a higher definition. So it definitely looks HD. Not necessarily better. The game lost its vibrant colors when it moved to the Wii U. I think it becomes a lot more obvious when you look at the outdoor sports, specifically the grass. Sure, it looks a lot more realistic, but is that really better looking? I mean, maybe to some, but to me it just looks like that was Nintendo Hire This Man video. It wasn't just the graphics either, the whole vibe of the game seems off, and not as good as the original. The UI, the colors, even the sound effects. It all just comes off as Nintendo trying way too hard to upgrade something that, if we're being honest, didn't even need to be upgraded in the first place. The biggest downgrade from the new stuff would have to be the music for me. The Wii Sports soundtrack is already amazing enough, and to this day it's extremely iconic, so to change that is a tough cookie to crack. So the safer choice would be to just recreate the music, right? Well, they sort of did that, but I'm guessing they really wanted to have this game stand out from the original and not have people wonder, why did I buy this game when I could have just played my old Wii one? So they changed things just to change things, and we lost the atmosphere that the original game had. I mean, let's just compare the main menu from both games. The original had this nice slow melody in the background while you browse through the sports, choosing the one that stands out to you the most. Nice and relaxed. But then you boot up the Wii U and it's all loud and in your face, and your grandma's on the floor having an aneurysm wondering why she has such a horrible grandkid. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating. I think I'm just really biased to the original because we all grew up playing this game with our friends and family. So when something changes, it's hard not to think the original is better than the new product, but it's just really hard to defend some of these changes. Just look at the music that plays during the results of boxing. It just doesn't hit the same. If you prefer the new soundtrack over the old one, that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion. I mean, you're wrong, but it's fine. The presentation wasn't the only thing that was changed, as all of the sports received either changes or upgrades. One major change to all sports was the requirement of Wii Motion Plus in order to play all these games. This allowed for better motion tracking in all the sports, so that was nice, and actually felt better than the original if I'm being honest. For example, for tennis, the way you swing your remote actually matters a lot more than just the timing of the swing like the original. If you give a poor swing, then your Mii starts tumbling and gives your opponent an opportunity to spike the ball back at you, putting them at an advantage. Overall, pretty good changes were made for this mode. One minor nitpick I have with this mode is the presentation. In the original, the camera pans down when the game starts, but here it's just sort of an ankle change. Minor issue, but it did bother me. I like the changes in bowling. The bowling alley is a lot more polished this time around, and although the colors are a bit more dull, it doesn't bother me as much since it's not as obvious as the outdoor sports. Overall, this was the same game, but a bit more polished now. So far, these changes have been really good, but then the game got more updates, more sports, and unfortunately more problems. Golf. This is when the developers went, oh shit, this game's on the Wii U, we should probably use the gamepad. And it went to shit. One of the new requirements for this game was to place down the gamepad on the floor so that it could display the ball on the floor. You know, so it's just like real life. Cool concept, except here's where it went to shit. The power bar is only displayed on the gamepad, while the map is on the big screen. So not only do you have to constantly break your neck by looking down and then at the screen constantly, good luck reading the power bar on the tiny ass gamepad on the floor. And guess what? You can't turn this off, so you are forced to use the gamepad to play golf. Oh, and Nintendo, knowing who the core audience was for their previous game, catered to them in this mode, especially those with Alzheimer's, as it plays an instant replay after every shot you take in case you forgot what you did 3 seconds ago. It also had a few more minigames for you to play, such as bingo and hitting bullseye in a lake. Too bad the game plays like shit. And of course, the colors are just dull once again, and the game just feels bland. Also very clever, Nintendo. Now no one will think this is the Wii version. Baseball, the first of the last 2 games that were added in the final expansion pack for this game. Does it suck? Yeah. Well, kind of. The batting gameplay remains unchanged, so swing to your heart's content. The pitching gameplay, however, once again, Nintendo remembered the gamepad exists, and now you are forced to use it to pitch the ball, which unfortunately is now done with the press of a button. Because why would I want to swing my arms while playing Wii Sports? Another use of the gamepad is that when your opponent hits the ball in the air, you actually have to catch the ball with the gamepad, which is honestly pretty fun. Unfortunately, it's a bit awkward having to switch between both remotes so often. Other than that, this game mode is harmless. Last and definitely least, we have boxing. The biggest change that was introduced to this was that the game no longer required a nunchuck. Instead, it now required 2 Wii modes with Wii Motion Plus. Or you could technically play with one remote with the one-handed option, but that's just no fun. Speaking of no fun, this mode also introduced a new stun mechanic that happens when the player takes too many hits in a row. Although it sounds like a rewarding system, this often feels very cheap and unearned, and it can happen way more often than I'm sure was intended. It feels cheap when an opponent stuns you, and it feels cheap when an opponent is unloading their pent-up anger against you. On top of all of this, the momentum of this game is a lot slower than before, which isn't helped by the stiff animations of the boxers, or the zoomed out camera. Let me show you a boxing match from Wii Sports and one from Wii Sports Club. The blur effect that occurs when you dodge a punch is gone, the impact on the punches is reduced more. Even the knockdown animations are better in the original game. Wii Sports Club has the same stiff knockdown animations while the original has the player ragdoll after being KO'd, which makes for a funnier experience. What isn't funny is whitewash. Yeah, the final boss isn't Matt in this game, it's some guy named Pit, and this is the only Matt that we have. Also, despite requiring 2 Wii Motion Plus remotes, the controls feel a lot more sluggish than the original. There just isn't a single redeeming quality about this sport, and it honestly feels a lot more rushed than the rest, making it the worst sport out of the remake compared to the best sport of the original. And that was Wii Sports Club for the Nintendo Wii U, a mediocre attempt at salvaging the Wii U by recreating the magic that was Wii Sports. Unfortunately, lightning doesn't seem to strike twice. Or thrice. or quadrice. One of the only cool features that were added was online multiplayer, which I guess doesn't really mean much nowadays now that it's shut down. Although the vision was there, the execution was not done properly. To make things worse for Wii Sports Club was the fact that the Wii U was backwards compatible, so there was really no need for the remake. A new sequel at Wii Sports Resort would have been a way better option, but I guess during that time there was no room for bad ideas in the development room. Unfortunately, this game seems to be a massive disappointment when compared to the original, and before Nintendo Switch Sports and then new Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, this was the last we saw from the franchise. Although the franchise lives on through the Switch, it will never have the same vibe we all grew up with. Especially not with those homunculus instead of the Miis. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment down below, and if you really enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, there's many more to come.